Is life purpose a topic only related with our current moment, our physical life, and how much success we apparently have? Or is it related to something that is more spiritual, that is beyond this moment, this life, this body? We are going to discuss about this today. I am Nancy Trivelato. I am one of the instructors of the International Academy of Consciousness, and it's a great pleasure to be here. I think this topic is super important for us to understand because there are different angles from which we can observe it. And these expressions is used in many different contexts. For example, many companies nowadays, at least those that are more up to date to the trend, is study what is the sense of purpose that employees have and feel when they are there in the organization. And they try to create some sort of connection so that everyone understands why they do what they do. So, and of course, in biology, we are going to think of what's the purpose of a life of different beings. We can think that for many people, the purpose of their lives is to buy something or to achieve a certain goal. And that is the problem with the word purpose in this context or social context. Because many people, they think, for me, the most important thing is to achieve that, let's say, goal. Usually it's something financial, economic. And once we achieve that, life then becomes empty because that didn't bring necessarily the happiness that the person was hoping for. To be happy, to be settled, to be balanced, to have a sense of belonging deeply refers a lot to having a sense of purpose in what we do. But this cannot be a purpose that we learned from someone. This cannot be a purpose that somebody told us what is important, what we have to wish for our lives. And usually, I do not know how is in your culture. Of course, there are people watching this from all over the world. But usually, that is a fact in most societies. We do not raise our kids to hear inside of themselves what is it that they want to do, what is it that for them gives purpose to their lives. It's not purpose for this current physical life, it's purpose for the existence. And not only we do not encourage that, but also many times what ends up happening is that we, I mean, society in general, not necessarily I or you, but most of the times what happens is children, they are repressed in their real goals. And when they say they wish something or they value something, oh, this is not important. Oh, this is not a good profession. That's what they hear, right? Or this is not for you. This is going to be a very complicated life if you follow this. And indeed, we have to give guidance. So how can we give guidance? And at the same time, not to be somehow stopping the sense of achievement, the intuition that comes from inside of that child, that there's something they want to do, they have to do. Hi, Gilbert. I see a friend here with us and many others. So what I want to emphasize here is that when the word purpose is applied to life, it's not only something temporary, something that is just a goal that society taught us what is important that we achieve so that we look good. It's more than that. It's a deep feeling of a sense of commitment. And for those who have this, very often, when they are not on the path for their, or on the direction, the right direction of what they have proposed themselves to do, they feel empty. So this sense of emptiness, like feeling there's something missing, and many times people feel there's something missing, but they do not know what. They do not know where to look for, and not necessarily because they are depressed. It has nothing to do with depression. It's not being depressed, it's not being sad, it's not being like a minority and feeling misplaced. It's nothing like that. Can happen, different people, different conditions, even very successful people. But they start feeling like I no longer see the purpose of this, and this being the whole context. Something is missing. And that's something that is missing is very often the connection with what we have planned and established for ourselves before being born. And this connection with that knowledge of what we have planned is very important, because that guides us, that gives us strength. Life can be very hard when this is obscure to us, or we feel we are constantly trying to get something that we know is important, that we know we have to have, that we know we have to achieve, but we do not know how, we do not know where it is. And often, when that persists for too long, people just give up. People just, think, oh, this is rubbish from me. What I have to do is just to be this very normal, successful being in society, period. But it's a pity, because we should have better guidance on how to identify the sense of belonging that we need inside of us. How to identify what is it that is our life purpose. And it's not one thing, right? But it's a set of different elements that will result in a given task or accomplishment. Maybe it's an instrument that we are going to create, whatever that is, but that is going to become valid for us and for others. So there are a few things that I would like to comment about this sense of purpose in life that is beyond just physical, that we feel inside of us, despite of having perhaps everything around apparently as they should be. It's everything great, but we still feel that sense that something is missing. In this case, we have to consider the possibility that we have planned, I guess that's the best word, something for us to accomplish in this existence. So the existence has a meaning, has a purpose, and that's why the word purpose applies perfectly there. Not everyone, and I need to clarify this, so let me make a parenthesis here. Not everyone in this physical planet, but also we can consider the non-physical population, right? Spirits, it's a population, but one that we do not have a census for. But not everyone is lucid enough, aware enough, with clarity in their minds enough to be able to plan something. But for those of us who, before being born, we were lucid, therefore, we knew we have had other lives. We knew we were going to be born again. We probably knew a bit of the context in which we are going to just start getting immersed. And we have that huge understanding. We have that clarity in our mind of what is the point of connection between who we are in our past life and another one, and things we did, and our very strong characteristics of our personality, but also the aspects of our personality that are still not developed enough and end up hindering the accomplishment of important things we want to do, have hindered in previous lives and may hinder again. So we have all of that idea. And we see what is it that we need the most, not only for others, but for ourselves too. What is it that we need to develop? What is it that we need to reinforce? What is it that we need to accomplish for ourselves? What is it that we need to overcome? And together with that, we need to see, like in a big scope, for example, is there something that we have done, or somebody we have met, or some sort of idea we have influenced in our previous lives that now we are energetically connected with that. So this life may be a chance for us to work on improving that, adjusting, remitting, making something even better of what was good, or maybe fixing what was not good. But we have a task. There is something to accomplish. It's not only I do if I want. No, there is a large scale of things in which something that we do will affect someone else, and will affect someone else. And the whole world is a result of small things that all of us do here and there. Therefore, it's super important that we have this strong sense of following that intuition of what our life purpose is. But on the other hand, many times we may feel like we didn't even know where to start from. We didn't even know what we have to do to look for clues on what is our life purpose. There are a few things here that could help. So let me give you some ideas here. And in the meantime, I want to ask you, for those of you who are now with me here live, but also those of you who will watch this later, please let us know here if you ever had, in the comments, if you ever had this sense of emptiness and what that represented to you. Of course, if it's something that you can share there in the comments. And also, please let us know what topics you want us to discuss about this or anything else in future lives. But I think it's important that we start at least getting some clues on what we can do to have more clear notion of this idea that there's something we have to do, especially for those of us who feel we are still not there. Not there does not mean with the task done. No, not there, I mean, don't even have a clue of what it is. So we are not there. We don't know. We don't even know where to put our efforts on, or on what to put our efforts on. So then, for these cases, there are a few things that could be helpful. For example, if you know a little bit about energy, like your energy body, and especially this energy that forms the connection between our physical body and the non-physical body, the astral body. The connection that exists between these two bodies is formed by some sort of energy. We call it an energetic interface because it's in the interface between the two of them. But there are many different names. It doesn't matter the names. What matters is that you understand what I'm talking about. But if you can have a more clear sense of these energies, and many of us, we do, I'm sure many of you do naturally in your everyday life. But the more you can have that notion of the existence of your energy and what sort of information is in there, but a notion that is lucid. It's not just a feeling that is vague. No, sensing it, sensing your chakras, sensing this energetic connection with the non-physical body. And also, if you can, in addition, to have opportunities in which you can sense your non-physical body. You can sense, for example, your astral body when it's slightly detached. If you are one of the people that is afraid of leaving the body, I don't even want to hear about out-of-body experience. Of course, there's no reason to be afraid, but I understand that some people, they are not confident enough. They need to study more. They need to understand better what happens. But if that's the case for you, think about, for example, if you can sense a bit your non-physical body, your astral body, that will somehow change inside of you, in your mind, how would I say, some sort of an image, but it's not a visual image. It's something more abstract of who you are. You will see yourself more clearly, and see again is not visual. It's perceiving, sensing yourself as a being that is beyond just this matter, this body. So even if you don't leave the body completely, but just sensing the energy, perhaps sensing some of your chakras, sensing this beginning of the loosening of the connection of your astral body, just tiny bits of it is enough to start little by little bringing to our brain some notions that we are beyond this physical body. And this may allow intuition to flow more freely, because if we were conscious before being born, and if we planned what was the most important thing for us to do, and that was the purpose of our existence, then if we have a stronger connection between our physical body, our physical brain, with this non-physical body of ours, this will increase the chances of us having proper intuition, more clear, strong feeling of what is it that we have to look for, so that we are on the right path. If we just go one step in the right path, oh, that's already a very good feeling that we have inside of us. It's a blessing. And we do not need to know everything. It's just to know I am on the right track. And that brings great sense of happiness. Because many times people keep searching for happiness as if that is something that they can just create inside of themselves out of nothing, or that they would achieve by having something external. But at least in my opinion, from what I sense happiness is, I think that is something deeper that we can and should look for. So summarizing what we have discussed here, what we have to think a little bit about is, have we had stronger connections with our essence beyond this body? If not, what can we do to achieve that? Perhaps you can study something. The best study, in my opinion, is when we can understand the connection between our lives, one and another, because we see everything chopped, and right now we only remember of this present moment, present life. But in fact, the whole sequence of lives and period between lives is one thing. It's one timeline. Our capacity of recalling, our lucidity is not enough to sense all of it. But once we study and we understand this sequence, how it works, and we get just a tiny bit of a clue from this life, and sense our non-physical body, and sense there's something beyond this physical life, these small things, they produce a huge result. For example, when we teach the consciousness development program, the most important thing that people report at the end is not that, hey, I left my body. We teach out of body experience, but for a purpose, for a reason. Not only, hey, I left my body and that's it. No, because doing it appropriately, knowing the whys, knowing how it happens, and knowing these logics of the non-physical reality and the physical reality, how it interacts, it starts bringing to us naturally, because it is already here inside of us. We just cannot access it. So all of a sudden it surfaces what? This knowledge that we are beyond this body. That is not a theoretical knowledge. It will become part of who we are. And surfacing of that information becomes so important, so critical, that most people, at the end of the course, they will report that it changed their lives. It changed how they see themselves, how they see the world, how they see other people. It changed their relationships. It gave them a sense of clarity on what they have to do. But never we tell anyone what to do. And by the way, you should never accept anybody telling you what to do with your life. It's very important, because in this area of study we are, I think it's a bit risky, because some people, they end up taking advantage of those who are seeking for information, and they are in a vulnerable moment. So whatever happens, you must always rely on yourself for your decisions. Rely on yourself for what is important to you or not. What is my task and my purpose? It may be on the same direction of yours. Maybe we are contributing. We are part of a bigger maybe structure or task, and we are small cogs there, but only I know where I fit and if I choose to. I think it's very important to say this because we should never let go of our free will and discernment, clear thinking. And I do not think identifying our life purpose or having clarity about this is simple. Because, as I said in the very beginning of our talk, it gets all confused. We learn from society and the way we are educated aspects that do not help us. It confuses us. We do not get the right parameters for us to be able to identify what is important to us. And right now, I propose to you that you give yourself this chance. Think, do I feel I am in the right path, or is there something missing? If there is, aim to find it out. It's possible. Do not allow just time to come and push you aside from your true dreams. And when we plan before being born this bigger picture of purpose for this existence, we have much more information than we have now. Of course, because we were not restricted by the physical brain. So it's super important that we try at least to access that information and allow that intuition to come. Anyway, wonderful talking to you guys. I see here some comments. Very nice. Thank you, Prakash. Very good. And you understand about the experience of the non-physical self. Absolutely. And it's so interesting, right? How for so many of us, we know there is something beyond, even though not necessarily were taught about that. And sometimes when we think about our childhood, we remember moments in which we knew that there was something beyond. But how? How could we know if nobody taught us? Because this is inside of us. So that's what we want now to regain. Very good, guys. So thank you for all of you. I see the name of you guys here with me. Lynn, Paul, Gilbert, Stephanie, so many people. Malu, hi, nice seeing you. So thank you. And please, before you leave this page, take a moment to put in the comments what topics you would like to hear in the next Sundays. Every Sunday, different topic, different instructor, different approach here to you, all related to consciousness development. And take a look here at the comments because IAC is offering for this period of coronavirus crisis 2 modules of the Consciousness Development Program free. So if you want to preview, but also I'm going to put here in the description in a moment, links where you can see more details about the Consciousness Development Program or the CDP. Thank you so much, guys, but you can learn a lot from there. And it was wonderful being with you today, and I will see you soon. Okay, thank you, goodbye.